Hi, and welcome to the Chronic Health Collective. This isn't just a community, it's your fresh start. We've gathered the best coaches and experts to help you reclaim your energy, heal from the inside out, and live with purpose. Whether you're longing for more energy, deeper healing in your relationships, or a life that feels more aligned and fulfilling, you're not alone anymore. Hi, I'm Amanda Beth, and I'm joined with tonight's host, Cable Jones. And we're going to talk about momentum, the momentum in the new year. So take it away, Cable.
Momentum of the new year, stepping into your power and being able to move forward effectively in all the different things you want to accomplish this year. I was thinking through how to continue with momentum, and we often think about our goals and our resolutions and everything we want to accomplish, and we want to sort of leave our all the things that we didn't get done last year and start
regrets.
Start anew for this year, and how we can get momentum. And when I thought about this in when I was in elementary school, there was this really tall swing set at the playground, elementary, and I really actually loved the swing set because I was actually taller than all of my other classmates. I started school a year later than everyone, so I was taller than everyone for my entire elementary school. And I was probably like the king of the swing. I could swing the highest of everyone. Of course, because I was a foot taller than everyone. But at that time,
I didn't. It's funny how that growth and development really comes along in segments there.
Yeah. At that time, I didn't notice. I didn't notice that it's just because I was taller than everyone that I was the guy that could go the highest on the swings. But in that same way, like a swing, you're kind of, when you start sitting on the swing, kind of like sitting on your goals at the beginning of the year. If you make the goal and then you say, I'm going to sit on this goal until it comes to fruition. That's what most people do. They're sitting on their goal. They
sit on it. And they sit in place and think that I'm just going to think about it hard enough and just and
it's going to happen. Then they don't. If they can think about it as a swing set, they can sit on that goal, and if it's a good enough goal, that goal will support them for as long as they need that goal to support them to start going, i.e. to get momentum to get that goal. The reason people set a goal and they're like, oh, I have failed, they didn't know that there needs to be an action. And often people talk about faith as an action word. You got to do some sort of something in order to have that goal to start. Just because you start a goal, you wrote right down the goal, doesn't mean that it has any movement or energy to move forward. It's in your head. It might be in your heart, and it's there. You're sitting on it. There's some additional things that need to take place in order for that goal to actually materialize. It's in the spiritual, and we know all things are created spiritually before physically. So you've created it, you put it down on a sheet of paper. It's still it's even more, it's still spiritual. You got to bring it into the physical space. A lot of people don't do that. They're just like, I created it spiritually. And once you create it spiritually, it's there, it has if you write it down, it's even better than if it's just stuck in your head. You write it down.
That still isn't the final piece, is it? You're talking about integrating it Yeah, taking it from the mind and the heart and the piece of paper and giving it that fuel, that momentum to
Yeah.
really bring it to life.
So then I was thinking, well, if I were a swing and I'm sitting on a swing set and I'm sitting there and my swing is the goal, and I'm like, just maybe my feet are even off the ground. At some point, you're like, okay, I gotta put my feet down. I gotta start pushing back on the swing. The goal is going to support me as I push back on the swing. Then I'm creating momentum. There's like I'm stepping back for the big picture. How am I going to accomplish this goal? Step back for the big picture. Think about all the different, if I have enough time. Like I signed up for a training recently in the last year. And then I looked into all the clients I had and I was like, I actually don't have any time to do this next training. I have absolutely no time to do. So sometimes we step in to do something and we haven't even quantified how much time we have to do anything. And so kind of like,
well, I am so good at that. It's like, oh, this is cool. This is going to be great. Let's go. And I jump in both feet. And then I realize, oh, that certification you just got, it's not supported in the state you live in. So you can't advertise it. You know, we do those. We jump in kind of mindlessly. We're just driven by that end result. And so, yeah.
But having the story of the swing, you're going back and forth. It's kind of when if the conscious mind thinks it's in control, but it's not. The subconscious mind is in control, but it doesn't think. It's all the softwares from our childhood. We often like, okay, yeah, this, if we think about it, it's going to happen. That happens when it aligns with our subconscious, but it doesn't always happen just because we think on it on our conscious level. It doesn't always automatically happen or changes the subconscious. That's why the gurus, other people out there say, hey, let's determine what declarations and affirmations we need to say. I am really good at designing my life, planning, and I change automatically. That would have more change in my life than me setting up this goal. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And actually telling my body exactly what it is able to do. Mm-hmm. Even if I'm not actually able to do that, I don't consciously think I can do that. I'm planned and I can move forward effectively. The saying that enough, it gets into my subconscious sufficiently that I automatically change the behavior of that subconscious program. Where before, if I say, yeah, I'm gonna set up a goal of exercising. When I say I'm going to exercise, that there's some resistance. Like, no, you're never going to be able to do every single day. But when I say I am going to, I plan effectively and I move forward efficiently. Whatever affirmation I say continuously, my body my subconscious begins to believe that. It's like,
you know, I saw a reel that was from Louise Hay many years ago, obviously, and she was talking about all the things that we've told ourselves, and you talk about those as being the software of our childhood, all the things that we were told, and our memory banks kind of take those in and they file them away. You know, you're not worthy, you're lazy, you're you know, all of these things. And then when we start with those affirmations of that positive, you know, I'm worthy, I'm going to exercise. And it takes that energy of I'm going to exercise and it takes it down. And your body's like, no, we've never had this before. This can't be right. And it sends it back. And so, like you said, repeatedly thinking that and changing that software, your childhood software, changing.
It'd be like, I am strong and I can do anything I want. I'm strong and I can do anything I want. Pretty soon you're like, man, I'm exercising and I didn't have to say that I'm exercising. I'm going to exercise I'm strong and I do anything I want. All of a sudden that affirmation, that declaration gets into the subconscious and you're beginning to do, you're changing processes automatically because of that sentence. That subconscious sentence changes your behavior faster than your thought process. I need to exercise every single day. As the conscious mind has all these other reasons why that might not occur. But if you can get into your subconscious, I'm strong and I do anything I want, all of a sudden you have this forward momentum, just like pushing back on the swing. You see the big picture, and then you've got the momentum to keep swinging back and forth, similar to a declaration. There was one. Sometimes people have all of these declarations. They're saying their declarations. They're putting into place their momentum. They're moving forward, but for some reason, they're just like, there's some reactions to getting their goals done.
Mm-hmm. That whole change.
In my life, that could, whenever there's a reaction to something, it's usually when I think of some type of tension, you're getting held back. It would be, would describe it as an allergy to that said action, to that exercise. And even setting up a goal to exercise or say affirmations, like, it's really hard for me to say affirmations. It's really hard for me to say affirmations, or those type of things. Sometimes it's literally people are allergic. Use the word allergy. They have a reaction to the process they want to do. And the people I work with, sometimes you think you can be allergic to food. You can actually be allergic to sentences or processes or affirmations or declarations, things you want to do in life. And you find yourself tense up. You're trying to move forward, and it's just like, whatever, you're tensing up, or your shoulders go forward, or you're just like, you get a headache every time you try to think about your goals. It could be something even deeper than you were thinking, and even more sinus, maybe even more difficult than you'd ever thought it would be. And it may not have anything. When someone has an allergy to something, they're like, I got to just keep myself away from this. They avoid it at all costs because it causes their eyes to itch and their nose. You don't usually have your eyes itch in your nose, but the other reactions is tension. You're not able to step forward to accomplish that goal. So
I think that brings in kind of that relatability, that if we think about, people talk about resistance, and we think about resistance as being this, I don't want to do it. No, don't make me. You can't make me. But you're talking about it in a way of talking about it, relating it to an allergy. I think that everyone can understand an allergy, and an allergy is kind of more of an avoidance because it creates these other symptoms. And so I think that that's what you're talking about there is relating a resistance to doing something, a resistance to change being like an allergy, having those physical responses in our body.
Yeah, it could be an allergy craving. You find yourself doing the exact same thing, and you want to change it to something more forward movement in this space. Sometimes some of the teenagers, children, they get connected. They do a lot. Maybe they do more video games. That could be. So why aren't you stopping that? It's like, if it's not not beneficial for them in their life process, it could also be in that space a type of allergy that's causing that person to do the same thing over and over and over again. It's not a PTSD loop. It's not, you're not having, but it's still a reaction to something that you want, you have more want for, or you avoid. It could be either or. If you just keep on doing the same action over and you don't know why, it could be. That's why I say it could be an allergy. And in my world, allergies can be released or cleared moved out of the person's energy space. So there's a lot of different ways that momentum and getting your goals and accomplishing your yearly activities a lot of different ways that things can stop you from getting to where you want to go. But never fear, Cable's here.
Well, at that, Cable, I think that's a great place. We'll go into our first commercial break here, and then we'll pick back up with how you can really help people to work through that energetic shift and those allergies or resistances to that momentum and that change that they're really wanting, and how they can really hone in on that.
Everything we're made of contains light. From the sun that feeds our world to the energy that flows within us. With LifeWave X39, we've found a way to put that light to work. With X39, we achieved something remarkable in the field of wellness and science that others could not. By utilizing LifeWave's unique patented technology, X39 uses light to elevate GHK-Cu, a copper peptide known to support overall health and wellness. Unlike traditional light therapy, X39 uses the body's own infrared light to naturally increase vitality. By gently stimulating the skin with light, our non-invasive, non-transdermal X39 patches help you conquer your active lifestyle and pave a new way to vibrant health. Becoming a powerhouse is easier than you think. It all starts with your body and a little help from light. Place one LifeWave X39 patch on the body. Apply the patch to clean, dry skin in the morning. Patches may be worn for up to 12 hours before discarding. Keep well hydrated while using this product. Harness your natural potential. Reclaim youthful energy. Live long, live well, live young with LifeWave X39. Be the light. LifeWave.
When you look in the mirror, do you see skin that's just dry, tired, and stressed? It's time for a new ritual. Introducing Deep Love, the blue botanical face cream by Coolness. We've captured their tranquil essence of blue botanicals in a cloud-soft formula that deeply soothes irritation and restores your natural, healthy glow. This isn't just skincare, it's an act of self-care. It's Deep Love. Find your calm only at coolness.com. Scan the QR code now to visit our website.
She looks like she has it all together, but inside, she's exhausted, disconnected, and asking, is this really it? I'm Amanda Beth. I help visionary women shift from burnout to embodiment, from survival mode to soulful success. Through intuitive healing and aligned strategy, I guide them back to their power so they can lead with clarity, confidence, and calm.
I was floored at how effective and powerful and insightful everything was in this journey. She is amazing, and you should absolutely do it.
This isn't about pushing harder. This is about rising with purpose, prosperity, and peace. And we're back. So take it away, Cable. Tell us more about how you can really help folks.
Momentum and goal setting and things that block us to getting where we want to go. And so it's definitely removing the phrases that we use that keep us where from accomplishing what we want. It's often even what we don't know, we often even writing down uh, the things that we're thinking about every day. It's like, what am I thinking about? And many of you might know this, where you've got a column A, column B, column C. You write down everything that's happening in your life. Column A, it's like, I brush my teeth, I eat food, I do like all the different things you do just normally during a day. And on column B, you write down your dreams, what you want to accomplish, what you're dreaming to do in life, and you write those all down. And then, what's in column C? What's column C?
Yeah, what's left after what you're doing and where you want to go?
Yeah. So in the column C, you write what's beyond your dreams. What? Something you never thought about.
Audacious goals.
Yeah. Often people think about their dreams as like, and the reason why the body doesn't get to actually getting their dream or their goal is because they don't have anything beyond that. And the body doesn't like to get to the end of life. The end of, like, it's a dream. If you reach the dream, that means you're like the end of, and because we don't want to move to the end, like, that'll be the end. We don't want the end. So we never actually get to where we want to go because we don't have something beyond that point. If you want to accomplish your goals, you have to establish. So maybe if it could be a level of maybe a level of money, and you're like, I want to make 10,000 a month or something. And if you're like always like, I'm never getting there, as if you set up a further goal, I make 50,000 a month or something, all of a sudden this is audacious, way out there, and all of a sudden you get past your 10,000 goal per month easily because you're looking out at the 50,000 goal.
I think that's an important way of thinking. I remember when I was first in business with myself and meeting with a business advisor, and they're like, well, what's your business plan? What's your business plan? And I said, I don't know. My business plan is this, this, and this. And then I said, but what happens if I write this business plan that's supposed to go for the year and I meet my goals in October? Am I supposed to close shop and go on? But I think that answers that. You have to have those goals of reaching even further. The first goal is to, make the money as a young entrepreneur. Making the money was the big deal. And then having money in savings, even if it just covered sales tax. And the bigger goal was, paying bills, and bigger than that was paying them on time. And then it's having the money, being prepared to be able to support yourself if something happens, the what ifs, and having those resources. So you're talking about things like that, being able to have the goal after the goal.
Yeah. And sometimes in my own life, when setting and trying to accomplish something, sometimes they say, if there's someone in your life that you can, and maybe it's not a family member, sometimes there is higher resistance. You tell your family member, I'm going to accomplish this. And it's like they step into your image of what you think the goal should look like. And then if you choose someone that is going to give you an uplift, an encouragement of moving forward. And recently this week, I had a goal of finishing a report that I was doing for consulting. And I was like, this has been around for a much too long time. I need some additional help. So I called up a colleague, a friend, and said, hey, every hour on the hour, I want you to text me or call me and saying, hey, I've gotten this done. That allowed me to have a uplift of encouragement to get said report done. And within 20 minutes, I had breakthrough after another breakthrough after another breakthrough. All of a sudden because I had this additional person energy of encouragement, it also allowed my brain to have encouragement moving forward. This only works if you choose the person who will encourage you move forward and lift you up. Often people tell others about their goals, but they don't judge the energy. And those people are like, are you kidding? You're not going to get that. They like push down the person, and that's not beneficial. So it's beneficial to choose. They say the five people you hang around, you become. It's often in accomplishing the goal is even like, hey, you want to go exercise? Even choosing some of the people to go exercise with, they're like, no, I don't exercise. Who exercises? All of a sudden you're down. It takes a huge amount of energy and power just to think about the goal in the first place. And you could, even a small 1% dip of ability to step into that space and make change can have a huge effect upon you. So you have to be very careful on like, okay, it's like a strategy. Who do I need to contact if I need to have a little more ability to step over this threshold to get my goal? Who could I speak to about this to help me?
Yeah,
who's action?
Yeah, who's going to be in my corner and continue to be positive with me? And I would almost say that, because the whole idea of having that positivity, and once someone knocks you down a notch, you have such a hard time coming back from and recovering from that. I mean, they've done countless studies on that. And so I would almost say that if you don't know for sure that person's going to be able to support you and really be in your corner and in your circle, you need to grow your circle to include those who can support you, and almost not share if it's not, but having that, I don't want to say accountability, because that's not, you were looking for someone to share in your goal and to share with manifesting and completing those things. I know that when I used to take on projects as a designer, and people go, oh, whenever you get to it. Oh, no, don't tell me that, because I will never get to it. If you don't have a deadline, I don't have a deadline. And so sharing in that common goal and creating, momentum, as you talked about, being able to, have that person who will give you that push on the swing if you need it, and be there to watch your progress, to witness it, and I think that having that witnessing is also a big portion of that as well, energetically.
Yeah. And you approach these people that can encourage you, have an action that they can help you with. Sometimes it's like with the friend, I was like, hey, can you contact me every hour on the hour? I need help today to get this done. And it was very empowering for them. They're like, we love this. They're a prayerful type of person. They're like, I'm going to be praying for you, and I'll be contacting you. And so I immediately had all these breakthroughs. So often it's finding that person who, and
even if it's not the big goals. I know my bestie and I, she'll say, I've got to get this, and this done. It's like, yeah, I've got to get this done. And then you text him. He's like, check mark, I got the dishes put away, check mark, and really celebrating those, and then having someone to celebrate with you, I think is also equally as important, to encourage you to share that momentum and to contribute. I mean, we're pulling in their energy as well to combine to create that and continue that momentum forward.
And this is it's not one of my normal, I don't usually reach out for help, but this particular goal had been around for such a very long time, many, many weeks. And I was like, I really need to get it done. I really needed to get it done this week. So sometimes you can leverage, just think of all the different resources you have and leverage more. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have somebody else to reach out to, you're like, okay, I'm just me. What can I do to change my environment? And some of you might know Bruce Lipton, and he speaks about the surface, the cell wall having more effect upon the cell than anything else. It's the interface between the environment and the inside. And in the human body, that would be our all the different chemicals our body's producing, hormones and cytokines and adrenaline and all these different things, stress hormones. By changing our environment, it's like, okay, I've been spending time in the office. I need to go for a walk. That's all of a sudden changing your environment, and what you like really high stress, all of a sudden you go for a walk. It's like, oh, wow. I'm like relaxing in a way that I wouldn't ever be able to in the office. And a walk is a great thing to take when you are still sitting on your goal. I don't know how to get the leverage. Sometimes you just have to do some small changes to get the leverage, to get the momentum to move forward in that important goal. And if there are goals that you're having difficulty ever moving forward on, you might have to think about, is this actually a goal that I want to accomplish? If you're having that much difficulty.
And yeah, giving yourself permission to reassess, especially if it's something that's dragging on and it's not bringing you joy and satisfaction in completing it, then yeah, restructuring how you look at that goal and resizing it, reframing it, looking at, how do you need to modify that goal in order to make it more attainable, I think is also really important as we reassess things.
And sometimes you're just like, I just need to get fired from this job. I'm done with it. There's a lot of people who are doing that. That's another trend of modern life where people are quietly quitting. They're kind of like losing.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I need that next thing. Like you said, column C. I need to know what's next. When I finish this, what do I get to do next? So I think that column C is really important. And you're talking about this job kind of weighing you down and dragging you down and needing that column C. What's the next job? I have to complete this before I can do something else. I crochet. That's one of my pastimes.
So it's concentrating on the column C. And in the process of concentrating on column C, you'll accomplish all column B. Mm-hmm. You don't have to I'm going to try to get this and this goal and this goal. You're not really concentrating on, you're concentrating on this really huge, large goal. You don't even know how, it's totally impossible to solve. But in the process, you get all of column B finished, done. Because at some point you're like, this is mammoth, huge goal. I don't even know you're talking to everyone about it. And they're like, that's the craziest goal I ever thought of ever possible. You don't even think you're going to achieve it, but you're going for this goal. And you find that you have plenty of energy to get this column B dreams done, because it takes so much more energy just to think about this huge mammoth goal that what you thought would be really difficult is then all of a sudden very small in comparison. And I just was listening to a study where there was they were testing how knowing that there's a new way of processing or doing, or there'll be an end to something, they'll be rescued. Like they threw these rats into a water, and there's they're swimming, and they pulled them out, and they're just they got dried off, and then they threw them back in, and they were able to swim for long time. And then because the rats knew that they were going to be rescued, all of a sudden, if in our own lives, okay, I have something to do, I want to get something done, and sometimes it's I'm done for. I'm not going to get this done. I'm not going to accomplish this. And that thought process is enough to put us down in the bottomless pit of despair. We're never going to get out of when we're like, wait, I always have a rescue. And for me, it's never fear, cable's here. Okay, I help my clients move to a space where they always have, there's never a place where they're blocked in. There's always some way that they can change. I'm overly optimistic to help someone get through their difficulty and achieve whatever they set out to do. They just haven't thought about it in the way that my brain thinks about it.
Well, and having that coaching component, being able to help people break things down. And, this year I've taken on a lot of, doing life one bite at a time. That's how you eat an elephant, one bite at a time, and breaking those big goals into little goals. So let's come back from this commercial break and we'll talk more about just how specifically you can help people to redirect and manage these big audacious tasks.
Okay.
Why do 98% of beauty enthusiasts rave about coolness? It's all in the blend of ancient wisdom and modern science. Introducing Coolness, Pearlescent Face and Eye Serum Cream. This powerhouse combines the antioxidative power of schisandra berries, the glow of pearl powder, and the hydrating wonders of dragon's blood extract. It's like a time machine for your skin, making it radiant, firm, and oh so smooth. Inspired by ancient Chinese traditions and backed by modern nutritional science, this serum cream is perfect for dry, mature, and aging skin. It's time to unlock your inner glow with Coolness. Treat your skin to the best of both worlds today.
And we're back.
Well,
so where do we need to take this to help us stay focused on column C so column B magically gets done as column A goes through every day to day?
Make sure the column C that what's beyond your dream is massively. There's no way that you'd ever think about ever accomplishing it. That provides the enough energy to get all your column B items done. But sometimes people aren't even able to think what's beyond my dream. So you gotta spend some time. It's like what? I can't even dream about it. If I can't even think beyond my dream, it's like, what's beyond my dream? And that's where sometimes it's hiring a life coach or someone else who can keep you on task. What's your column C? I don't know.
I remember those days of column B was just, getting through column A, getting through the day to day, the getting up, going to work, coming home, being the mom, being the house, taking care of everything and going back to work the next day. And the idea that someone would ask me what my dream was, or if time and money were nothing, where would you go? What would you be? Where would you live? And I'm like, there's a choice. I remember those days. And it was at that point in time that I also realized that I really needed a coach more than I ever knew I did. And to learn to then look at creating column B. And then I love the idea of just continuing on. But isn't it important as you create column C, those things that you never think you'll attain but don't frame it in that I can't do this part?
What's beyond your dreams? It's in the phrase, what's beyond your dream? What would you do if you haven't even thought about ever thinking about it? Write that down. And when you start thinking that, then column B starts coming together in a way that you never ever thought it possible. So like one of the things I wanted to do my entire life, I wanted to help the world leaders, the entire world of all the leaders, all these governments, all these leaders of governments. They step into these spaces and they're often not someone. They have their own personal issues. They have their country. They have their continent. They have their whole world issues. And there's a lot of leaders we can think about, like, he needs some help. She needs some help. And they don't have very many people to turn to for help. Also athletes. I was working with a minor league baseball player, and he said, Cable, when I am out on the field at night underneath the spotlights, I can't see the ball. And I was like, you've never told that to the main coach, had you? The head coach is like, no. And I was like, you need some help there because you're not going to be playing baseball very much longer if you can't see the ball at night. Of course, I worked with him about 30 minutes. He was confident that he could see the ball at night. And it had to do with an allergy, the color of the ball to the color of the grass, his body was reacting, tensing up. His eyes weren't able to see. It's like literally like, I'm going to prevent this person from doing this action because I am not fully invested in this baseball game that one part of his body wanted to do, his other part didn't want to do. So it took about 30 minutes of speaking, helping him clear out, release these reactions to have him say, you know what, I can see the ball just fine. I have no trouble with this. And that translates into normal individual people's lives, executives, other people. They often, I had another man who called me and said, Cable, I am vice president of this cybersecurity firm. I have all these products. I have all these people calling me all the time. It's like my brain can't go fast enough. And I said, well, so you need your brain needs some help to speed up, to do all the things it needs to do and more. And he's like, yeah. It took about 2 weeks of me working with him to where he could I'm able to take all my phone calls, remember all the products that I sell, and my brain's going fast enough.
Do you think that some of that resistance comes from that fear of failure, that those childhood software programs that we wrote ourselves into, that we're not capable, we're not worthy, is that some of the things? I know that in the healing and stuff that I do with clients, a lot of times it comes back to that. You brought up those subconscious beliefs and how we rewrite those so that we are not our own worst enemy. We're not self-sabotaging.
Yeah, it can often relate to ancestral, what's passed down from the ancestors. And like I had this man, he owns a pizza shop, but he was like, Cable, I have really high anxiety. I have trouble. I have this business of making pizza, but I currently take an anxiety medication. I'd like to get off. And I was like, what's going on? And I went back to his great grandmother didn't like to go outside. It was afraid of walking outside. And I helped his great grandmother walk outside, be okay. And then it trickled down to him. He's like, I have no more anxiety. This is all related to this one ancestor. So it could be ancestral based, but sometimes it also can be how childhood, how we were raised, how we just generally think about something.
So, Cable, I think it would be really helpful to our viewers to better understand how it is. And I know as a fellow healer, to tell people how it is we do what we do is seemingly impossible. Well, what are the parts of individuals that you are able to access? And I know you do it energetically, and I understand that. But is there a way that we can help explain that? He says, "Yep, that's the $10 million question."
that's like column D. What are you talking? That's beyond my column C here.
Okay. So yes. Because I know oftentimes when I refer people to you, I refer to you more as being a medical intuitive. Because when I've worked with you, my experience has been that you have been able to access the inner workings of how my body comes together, and not always in a way that I would think about it. You know, you talked about cell membranes and the strengths of cells
Yeah.
and how changing those things. Can you?
So I can only describe this, how my body functions and operates, and then maybe it's not the same as everyone else. Subconscious and conscious. And so like, think about your computer. There's a software, and then inside the computer, there's code that makes up that software. So you can see what's on the screen. But some people, most people know the software of their body. They're like, yeah, I have pain here, I have pain there. When I have pain somewhere, I interface with my subconscious. And I say, hey, subconscious, what's going on? My subconscious says, oh, this is this. I work with subconscious, and then I go back. My conscious mind, like, is the pain gone? I go back and forth. I go from the software to the code, to the software to the code, automatically, where a lot of people aren't connected from their software to their code. So can people connect and do the same as I? They can. It's a new level of thought process that people haven't ever thought about doing, but it's literally saying your conscious mind, hey, I'd like to connect with my subconscious in an even better, stronger way than I am right now.
And no, I absolutely agree with that it's a matter for me a lot of times working with people and getting them out of their head and back into their body, into their heart, into their soul, that intuition connection. And when you understand that you can have an own energetic connection, but you also know when you think about someone and they call you, and those are the same, similar, but much, much deeper energetic connections that you are able to have with people, would you say?
Yeah. I would also, like I'm saying, when you have a reaction, you're tensing up. So often people like, oh, I'm tensed up, I want to get out of this. Like, wait a minute. This is your subconscious. Your body is your subconscious. Your maybe a tension in the head, or butterflies in the stomach, or a denseness somewhere. Your body's trying to tell you, your subconscious is trying to tell you something. And it usually shows up as sensations in the body. It's like, okay, rather than running from, we don't usually run from experiences we've had in the past. We run from the emotions of the experience that we had in the past. So we don't want to feel this tension in our chest anymore. We're running from that tension. It's like, wait a minute, I'm just going to feel this tension. And I'm going to send it love. Okay, I'm going to send this tension love. Just feel it. At some point, often this tension, it's just, the body's like, hey, you felt it? Now I can move to the next. And you all of a sudden, like, tense elbow is like, okay, just feel it.
And so coming back to, and I know that's one of the things that like Andy and I talk about a lot, is listening to your body. It's not about reaching for pain pills. It's about listening to your body. What is the message? And so many of us have gotten so disconnected, and that's why we need No Fear. Cable is here to help us to reconnect those things. And oftentimes you actually do the work for individuals so that they don't have to, but you allow them to understand where the process is coming from.
Yeah, there might be a large portion of people who listen to this that I had a lady who had ankylosing spondylitis, a painful back for 8 years.
Yeah. And
they called me up and like, hey, Cable, I heard that you can help me. And I was like, your back's been stuck in fight for 8 years. It needs to switch over to lax repair. Within 3 seconds, she's like, oh, the pain in my back is gone. It's like someone is in fight running from a tiger constantly, and then all of a sudden they were switched to relax repair. They started repairing their back started to relax and repair itself. In relax repair, that's usually not a high pain space.
No.
It can be, but you often in relax repair, you're in this space, and all of a sudden the hormones that need to start healing up your back, they're released, and you, like cortisol, stress hormone, but it's a numbing, and all of a sudden, like, wow, I'm not feeling pain anymore. It's starting to repair. Yes, there's stress hormones on the parasympathetic, the sympathetic, the fight side, but there's also cortisol, stress hormones on the relaxed repair side. Even more, all of a sudden you feel the numbness, and like this is actually beneficial to have less pain immediately, like maybe after a car accident. Stress hormones go in the body to kind of help you stay in a space of being able to move through the injury without going ballistic, like, oh no, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
That
the body jumps into that panic mode.
Yeah, and I've been in my own car accidents where literally the fireman says, "Hey, kid, well, you need to see this ambulance over here." It's like, unless my arm's hanging off the side of my body and I don't notice it, I don't need to go see that ambulance. But literally, as I'm riding with the tow truck guy into town, I was like, okay, I'm going to clear out the stress hormone, and I'm going to figure out what's actually injured inside of my body. I have 11 misaligned vertebrae right now. Okay, so I have a capacity of moving back and forth, subconscious, conscious, to identify what's going on. Yeah, there's probably some times where I need to go into the hospital to solve things, but a large portion of what's happened in my life, I haven't had to go to the hospital, but I leave the stress hormones in there long enough until I'm ready to release the stress hormones to get to a more balanced space of being able to heal myself up.
So, Cable, before we have to leave today, what is the best way that folks can get a hold of you to experience this and to get some healing and help them to create that momentum? Because I don't think you're still out on the swing set. You're way past that.
But I want to be.
Don't we all?
I've been looking for that swing set everywhere. I guess on the screen here we have speaktocable.com. You can also email me, realtimehealer@gmail.com, and schedule appointments with me there, speaktocable.com. There's a scheduling button. That probably works the easiest.
Okay. Awesome. Well, it has been another Chronic Health Collective episode. If today's episode spoke to you, don't go it alone. Book your free consult with one of our expert coaches at chronichealthcollective.com for personalized support. Subscribe to our monthly magazine for expert tips from all 11 coaches to alleviate your health, mindset, and relationships. Catch us live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, or watch past episodes anytime on E360 TV or youtube.com/@Chronic Health Collective. Thanks, Cable. I hope everybody has gotten some enlightenment here and can find their momentum.